Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing. Big show coming your way as always. Lots to talk about tonight. A lot of people at home that are frustrated with the 5 kilometre rule. We'll talk about that. Lots of good fish being caught by the people that can go out within that 5 kilometre rule. And the Saints are still in the finals. How good is that? The Noosa Saints stubby holder t-shirt. Noosa, go Noosa. How good is Noosa Saints? So just scraped it through, ads. And when I say we scraped it through, you were 3 times worse.
No one would have put money on both the Saints and the Pies still being in the finals after week 1. So we're celebrating. It's talking fishing, but we're just going to have a crack at footy for a little bit because the mighty Pies are still in there, Trelly. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Trelly,
got the cats in our sights next week.
You never talk about footy. Do you barrack for anyone?
Not really.
No.
Oh, people get on this football and
Shepherd and Dragons or something?
They start crying and acting like kids. Next thing you know, they want to get out of Melbourne.
Yeah. Hey, now, during the week, Sunday was beautiful. In fact, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were beautiful.
Great.
Mid to late 20s.
Yep. There was a taste of what's to come.
Mildura, 37 or something, was it on?
It was 34. I come out of the Barmer Forest at Pecole. It was 34 degrees there.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, it hit 30 in Melbourne, didn't it? In the heart of Melbourne, it did hit 30.
I don't know. But I had the fire going on Monday.
Yeah, so now it's 11.
Hey, by the way, I've got one of these for you next week too. By the way, I'll share one of these with Adam next week. So I've got 2.
Yeah, it won't be a stubby resting in it. I'll give you the tip.
No, I've got one for you. So it's all good. Boys, 1 year ago today, just thought I'd bring this in as a bit of a memento. Can have a look on camera one there. The Antenna Award for Best Special Interest or Lifestyle Program Talking Fishing. 1 year ago. Come up on the Facebook memories today. And
could have won another one, but it's not on.
Yeah, it's not on. So, but anyway, I think we're doing all right. The OzTam ratings are saying we're doing all right.
All good.
So, yeah.
We're still here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a good week in fishing. There's been some absolute stonkers. I've got some late photos today, and we can't show all the photos that we got. We've got quite a lot of photos this week, but I've got to say, apart from some good snapper being caught, some absolute donkey calamari.
Yeah, they've sort of they seem to have popped up in the last week. As in the size, that's how big the real big ones. There's been calamari caught since we've been allowed to go within 5 kilometres or whatever confusing rules in place at the moment. But yeah, they've seemed to have jumboed in the last week.
Yeah. So now we got stonker trout, we got donkey calamari. Have we done donkey before with the calamari?
I'm not sure.
You just made that up, didn't you?
Just made it up.
I like it.
Roll with it.
We're getting yelled at. Folks, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
Now let's kick it off with a man. Well, sorry, we're not going to show a man in a minute, but a man who was refused to. So he was not allowed to launch his boat on Sunday. The water police said stop.
It was very interesting.
Boat ramps are closed.
It was very interesting.
And
what did he do?
Brendan Wing rang me and said, Dave, boat ramps aren't closed, are they? He said, you're on loudspeaker with the police. Anyway,
this is at Stony Point boat ramp.
Got that sorted out. And in the end, the police officer actually apologised to Winger and said, no, go fishing. And
that whole situation, to watch it play out on Facebook, was handled beautifully by both Brendan and the police. I think. You've got to take the positives when they're there.
No one threw anything?
No. There was none of the police officer stood in at the end and said, my bad.
Yeah, right.
It was good.
A couple of things that did get thrown in the end were squid jigs, and have a look at Olivia and Brennan's daughter Billy. Have a look at this for a couple of beautiful calamari, not far off Stony Point boat ramp, I can tell you. So sticking within the 5K rule, but they're good fish. Brendan knows how to catch them too, doesn't he? Well, and the kids, obviously, with his instructions. So Well done to Billy and Olivia. The snapper, let's turn to snapper because there has been some great snapper caught. Breno, he got out off Coronel, and have a look at this, 63 centimetre.
Yep, nice.
Be happy with that. Not only is Western Port on fire, but there's some cracking fish around in Port Phillip Bay for those that can get out, and it's much more difficult. So let's have a look. Ian Whiteside, a member of the Beau Morris Motor Yacht Squadron, got out, and they were just so relieved because I mean, I think they won, if you remember last year, we'll keep that photo up there for a second, but they won the best fish cleaning tables in Australia, remember, Beau Morris?
That's right, they did too.
And
Really?
Ian's a member down there, and he said he doesn't want us to mention where he got them, but a 6.3 and a 7.7 to Ian, best, that's his PB, sorry, good fish, so out of Beau Morris, headed round to Black Rock, and thank you very much for some lovely snapper. How good is that? A lot of people getting out off Mornington as well, so let's have a look.
Just saw the name, Dave.
What's that? Let's have a look at this. Amy Morseman, a lovely calamari off Mornington there, Amy. Well done.
Nice fish. Did they elope? Did they get married?
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, it is for sure.
Well, that's how it got sent in. Did they get... Oh,
Jerry, Bear Bum Jerry and Amy got married.
I don't know if they're married or not. That's the name that got sent in to us.
Oh, golly, we'll have to send them a present. I didn't know that.
Amy Morseman, isn't it?
Congratulations, guys. You heard it here first.
Oh, I think Amy's dad might be watching. Now Jerry and Amy are in trouble, so there you go. All right, let's keep going. Some beautiful calamari off Queenscliff, as there always is this time of year. Patrick O'Meara. Let's have a look at that. They're good fish.
More donkeys.
Yeah.
They donkeys?
They're donkeys.
Oh.
They are donkeys. Yeah, they are good.
Dead donkeys.
Oh, let's
Dead donkeys.
Yeah, they are a bit. Nice to get them when they're fresh in the photos, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of being in the tank for an hour or so.
It's all good.
Anyway, let's go from donkeys to stonkers.
Yeah.
Now this isn't quite a stonker, but it's a broody. And this was in the Eildon Pondage. Martin Buckland got up to Eildon Pondage on the weekend, and a lovely 67 centimetre trout. That is just fantastic, isn't it?
He's hanging on to that one tight.
Yeah, he was there. Tipping it went in the fry pan not so long after.
That's a nice fish.
Of course, we mentioned last week all the metro lakes and all the little lakes around Victoria for kids fishing over the holidays have all been stocked. And here's a classic that hasn't appeared on Catch of the Week before. Stanley Ditch Dam. Cody and Charlie got out and got some lovely little rainbow trout. Well done.
Nice. Where is that? Never heard of it.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Either had I.
New Zealand.
I had to. It sounds like it's somewhere in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's actually at the back of Beechworth.
Oh, there you go.
Up our way.
Yeah.
Good fish.
Cast over the ditch.
Stanley Ditch Dam.
Good on you, kids.
There you go.
Great one.
And another place that is absolutely on fire, and I'd have to say, if there's a period of the year where you want to go and fish this place, it's now.
Yeah.
Before it really heats up,
Yeah.
you get those cool mornings, cool afternoons, a bit of insect life on the top of the lake.
Yep.
Purrumbete. How good is this?
Yes.
Mick Evans from Victorian Inland Charters.
Oh, Jesus.
That is a cracking brown.
Oh,
in
yeah.
his books.
Yep.
Not the only one he's caught this week, I can tell you.
He's got that nice big jaw
Yeah,
line.
big hook jaw on it.
Yeah.
Like a
We featured
footballer.
him last week too, I think.
We did.
Didn't we? Yeah. Anyone that wants to get out and catch these fish, he's also, via text this morning, he was sort of saying that there was plenty of Chinooks around too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
down that way,
yeah.
and lots of redfin.
They got the tigers and brookies in there too.
I
don't they?
haven't seen much of them. We should get Mick to give us a few comments about that.
Yeah, see if he
Leopard.
gets a few.
What's the other ones? Got those other ones in there?
It's tiger.
Tiger. Leopard.
Cheetah.
Cheetah. That's it.
Cheetah
Cheetah
trout.
trout.
Yeah.
Puma. Leopard.
Puma.
Same thing.
Puma.
I can't keep up with
Lion.
them. There's that many.
Simba.
Bloody LGBT.
Right, moving on, Dave.
It's got nothing to do with that. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au. Go Pies!
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
Damn straight
And-
down pies. Good on you, Chloe.
Chloe, I can't believe we've still got her on there. I've asked for that to be taken off so many times.
Until Collingwood stopped making the finals, she's
Yeah, she's on. Coming up next, fisheries news, including where the stonker trout have been stocked this week in metropolitan Melbourne lakes. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Plenty of good news tonight, boys. It's all good, or most of it anyway.
Most of it.
4 out of 5, I think.
Even the bad bits are good.
There'd be one boat ramp one.
There's a boat ramp one, don't worry about that. No, it's we have a contract with Hastings. It's quite a nice contract to mention them every week.
Do a Slater and Gordon.
Anyway. All right, let's kick it off. So last week we talked about all the metropolitan Melbourne lakes that were being stocked with good catchable size rainbow trout.
Yep.
Well, this week, Trav just comes up with these ideas, I reckon.
I saw this today pop up on social media and I got a little bit excited.
Yeah. So the headline's Stonker Rainbow Trout released for Metro Family Fun. 18 metropolitan lakes, and I think we've got a list of them to come up on the screen. 18 metropolitan lakes are currently being stocked with 500 Stonker Rainbow Trout. To bolster recreational fishing fun with some big catches. Travis Dowling said they weigh each around 4 kilos and they complement the large number of catchable size trout already stocked into family fishing lakes. Have a look at these. Now, I know the ones that have been done are Caulfield Racecourse Lake, 30, and Albert Park Lake, 60. They were done yesterday. I'm not sure what were done today. But have a look at the list there. I mean, everyone can see that. And I mean, even places like Casey Fields, there's some stonkers in there now. 20 of them. And that's a genuine picture there in the background of Craig Ingram with a stonker going into Caulfield Racecourse on Monday. So, going to be a few people with £6 line that are going to struggle. Just a reminder, the daily bag limit of 5 trout applies to family fishing lakes, of which only 2 can exceed 35 centimetres. So if you do catch a stonker, you're only allowed to keep 2.
So most of those you have to put back?
You're allowed to keep 2.
Yeah. Of the big ones.
But over 35.
Of the big ones. Over 35, yeah.
That's good because there's not big numbers there.
But you've got to get them in.
It's going to be the best.
There's people. People are basically using kids' gear down there.
So it's going to be the best.
So they're going to get
jumping
these
and flipping and getting off.
10-pound rainbows.
Yep.
With 10 yards of line hanging out their mouth.
Tackle rods. £6 line. Not a lot of drag. Anyway.
Fun.
All right, this is Trelly. I want to talk about this species now. The next one, we've got a photo of it. Have a look. Tell us what the species is. You'll know. That's a macca.
Oh, yeah.
A Macquarie perch. It's nearly time to give the maccas a rest, says Fisheries. From the 1st of October, it's closed season for Macquarie perch until the 31st of December. So if you catch one inadvertently during this time, please do your bit and carefully return them to the water. Have you ever caught a Macquarie perch?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, I never have.
I've caught some up at Dartmouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, up at the top of the lake up there.
They go and fish for broodstock up that way, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There used to be, large numbers on them in the top of the Goulburn around Seymour and all up there, but I think they're pretty done, so they get caught pretty easy. But and other conditions, habitat and all that type of thing.
So I've got a feeling the two most endangered species, if you like, for rec fishing would be trout cod and Macquarie perch. I think I'm right. Their travel will be on the text machine, I'm sure.
Correct that next break.
And one of the things, I had a Zoom meeting with the Minister today, and one of the things I said is we've got to get the capacity in Victoria to produce enough fish to bring those, particularly those two species, back from being endangered to a point where they're abundant and that people can go fishing for them whenever they want.
Yeah.
And then they can knock a couple on the head if they want.
Yep.
We've got to get those two species back.
Yeah. And I think the Macquarie perch is probably what I would think was the main one. The trout cod, as far as Victorian waters, is thing, but New South Wales and the Murray River, they're like rats. They really are between Connell and Yarrawonga.
I know, Charlie, but you're not allowed to keep them, and you're not allowed to.
But their numbers are good. Their numbers are excellent.
So what are they waiting for there? Are they waiting for size?
Well,
are they waiting for them to start
hang
on,
because I got a call during the week from someone else who said, or might have been late last week, saying that DELP, that's their role to comment and almost rate where species sit, because they're doing it for southern bluefin tuna at the moment, and I think they're going to try and almost say that they're worse off than what they were. You wouldn't know with DELP, because DELP will say no or negative to everything, but those two species, they have to rate them too, and you know, if they get rated even worse than whatever they are now, and I'm going to make this up here because I've got no idea what I'm talking about, but say they're sitting endangered now, and then the next worst one is like, you know, super endangered or whatever, like it's likely the DELP will probably rate at that because they've got no idea, and they always like to make things look worse.
Yeah, but word back through the shops and things, I totally agree with the Macquarie perch. I know Anthony Foster's got a really soft spot for him, which is great. I love it. And hopefully that hatchery in Shepparton will bring on some of those species.
And so part of our discussion was that Arcadia, which is the new native fish hatchery, probably needs to be double what it is. You know, they've certainly bought a great block of dirt. Right, but it's a $7 million commitment to build a native fish farm, and you'll get what you get for $7 million. You could probably pour another $10 million and put twice or three times the ponds in and really ramp up production of some of those species that would actually bring them back to the point where they're abundant and you can go fishing for them.
Is there enough space on the new site to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
So there's huge room for growth in the future.
The block of land,
20 acres or something.
So the block of land's built for future expansion.
Sorry,
it was built for.
Oh, good tick.
But
that's good.
But it takes dollars.
And
I know that right now, I think if you go and watch the ABC, if you're bored enough, there's a budget going on right now. It's just going to put hundreds of billions of dollars into infrastructure, but nothing for the Shepparton hatchery. We need to try and get some dollars anyway. We need to help the minister with that one. So there you go. Macquarie perch, and allowed to catch them for a few months, but like to be able to see where they're abundant and you can catch them. So
tastes good too.
Yeah. Charlie, this one's over near your Geelong store. Bit of news. I think we touched on it last week. The new fishing reefs in Corio Bay. We've got a bit of a picture of what they're going to look like. It's a $700,000 project, and once they're installed, the rocky reefs will be seeded with native oysters and mussels. Now, have a look at that. I think we've actually probably all got a diagram in front of us. So it's basically 4 metres by 8 metres. That's each reef, and there's 5 of them. This particular one going off St Helens, 8 metres long, 4 metres wide, 1.5 metres high, basalt, limestone, and then seeded with oysters and mussels over the top. So
sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds good. $20,000 a square metre. It's not too bad.
As you pointed out, Charlie. There's other ones in St Helens.
I'm talking 700,000.
As you pointed out, if you go by the scale on the bottom there, they're about 100 metres out, so it's a fair cast out.
That's right. I was going to say.
I'm not sure that scale is quite correct because
a lot of people who cast past that. Ones that come into the shop.
I don't think they're 100 metres. I don't think that map is to scale.
No.
I don't think.
Good work, bud.
I think they're going to be
all that type of stuff's great.
Yeah, I think they're going to be less than 100 metres from
within
shore.
cast-ish
Distance. All right, here's another one. Here's another one for the punters, and we're going to show them how. I think they can win some prizes out of this one. This is a media release out of boating. Marine Safety Victoria is encouraging boaters to prepare their vessels to head back out on the water after delayed start to the 2020-2021 summer boating season. Following the extension of the state of emergency in April, they have noticed an increase in call-outs to respond to broken down boats in May, June, July. Most of these call-outs were due to old fuel, lack of fuel and batteries running flat. So we're encouraging people to get their vessels and safety gear ready before heading out in the water.
COVID fuel.
What is it?
COVID fuel, I call it.
Now, one of the easiest ways for boaters to be prepared to go to a ramp and that too is to get on the boating app through Maritime Safety Victoria's flagship website and app, Boating Vic. Now, one of the things they're doing, Boating Vic has boat ramp cameras around Port Phillip Bay and Western Port to help boaters determine which launching location they want to go to before they make the trip. So if they don't know their ramp, they can get on, have a look at it. They can see how busy it is. Certainly they can. If you got on Hastings, you can see what a mess it is. To continually improve boating, Vic Marine Safety Victoria is seeking public opinion to determine the ramp camera expansion into inland and regional boating hotspots. We want to hear from the boating public on which launching locations they want the next stage of cameras to cover. To have, excuse me, bit of COVID. To have your say on the ramp camera rollout, head to, I think we've got the website to put up on the screen, and we'll put this on our socials tomorrow, and give your opinion by Sunday, November 1st. So if you get on that, I don't know why they call it this, tiny.cc/boating Vic ramp cams, or tinny if you want. Get onto that website. We will put the link on our socials tomorrow anyway, and I think Marine Safety Victoria will be doing the same. But you can actually go on there and go, I reckon there should be one at Lakes Entrance. I reckon there should be one on Bull and Merri. There should be one at Lake Eildon and so forth. And
we just don't want to pay for amount of rec fishing licence money, so we can get money somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it's a good little thing. Have your say, and you go into the draw to win some prizes there.
Nice.
And it wouldn't be fisheries news without a
Boat ramp.
Which one this week?
an update on Hastings.
Oh, Hastings.
Hastings boat ramp. So now the funny thing is,
They still haven't pulled the pin on it? That is pretty funny.
They haven't pulled the pin on it.
Haven't communicated?
Wait till we get to mailbag when people want to talk about Hastings too, because it might get a mention. But the only update that's appeared for where Hastings boat ramp is in the Mornington Peninsula magazine. So Better Boating Victoria, zilch.
Yeah.
The last thing that says was,
we'll give you an update.
We'll give you an update. Yeah. I just this was published on the 2nd of October, this magazine, and it said, I'll just one sentence I'll read out of it. At this stage, it is too early. This is on the 2nd of October, which was the other day, 3 days, not long ago. Yeah. At this stage, it is too early to say how this will affect the timetable for delivery, but we remain hopeful that it will have a minimal impact on the project.
Wowzers.
I don't know who's writing these updates, but there's an emoji like this, isn't there?
Get to the letters.
I don't know. Anyway,
mailbag.
Let's get to mailbag. Coming up next, product of the week, and our guest chef takes us into the kitchen for trout tacos. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Now, we had a little bit of a win this week for Product of the Week because this was actually put together before we found out there were stonkers going into all the metro lakes. But we're talking about what you'll actually need to go and catch these stock trout at all the metro Melbourne lakes, which are just chock-a-block full of fish at the moment, and it's one of the greatest things ever because it gives us people that aren't too close to the bays a chance to go fishing. And let me tell you, I've personally been given Casey Fields a bit of a nudge myself. It's very, very simple to catch these fish, and that is the ultimate key, is to keep it as simple as possible. What I've got in my hand here is called power bait. That is a trout food or a freshwater fish food. And if you're thinking of a bait to take down there, make sure you've got at least one tub of this in your bag. I know scrubbies and worms and all that sort of stuff can be very successful, especially with the rain we've had and are getting. But power bait takes more trout out of those metro lakes than any other bait known to man.
Correct.
And listen, colour, your own personal choice. I've probably done better on pink and orange over the course myself, but it's like normal bait. It can change daily. But it either comes in nugget form or paste form. Both are really good. Obviously, you get a little bit more out of the paste than you do out of the nuggets. The only secret to this is to really give it a good squeeze before you put it on the hook, because it does tend to float. So if you try and put that under a bubble float without really squeezing it, you'll have your float here and your bait sitting on top right behind it, kind of defeating the purpose.
But if fish are sinker on the bottom, it's good because it gets
it's
up
good,
off the weed.
Yeah, that's right. But it is, it's just a go-to. It's a must-have for any of these metro lakes. This one's an absolute game changer. Get a little bit of that into your trolley. It's good for you.
It's like a bit of rabbit shit, isn't it?
These are these are the actual trout pellets and the trout food that they are fed. Any good?
Not
Bit
really.
crunchy. Bit crunchy.
These are the trout pellets they're fed in the hatchery. So from basically the conception of these fish, they get brought up on this, and as soon as you pull up to your spot at any of these metro lakes, couple of handfuls of that, and if there's any trout around, they will be there within seconds because they are accustomed to feeding time by, I guess, the sound of
that hitting the water.
surface.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I wouldn't go if I didn't have it.
Yep.
It's just that. It's that simple. It's not expensive. Listen, there's plenty there to get you through a session. You don't need to go tipping the whole packet in one go.
Yeah.
A little often is the rule with burley, and it's no different for trout in residential lakes. So that's the old trout food. Get amongst that.
Be gritty.
This is where it gets exciting. Spoons and spinners. We have had a funny little bite down at Casey Fields over the last 2 weeks. I've seen quite a few people. I had a chat to a few of the locals down there, some of which have been sitting there for 2 or 3 days with bait and not getting a bite. Whereas we can walk the lake with a spinner in an afternoon, find a little patch of them, and it's nothing to catch 8 to 10 fish in 15 casts.
Yeah.
And it's just, these fish haven't adapted yet. They haven't been in the system long enough to spread out and really get accustomed to it. And then we've had rain on top of that, so it's changing the conditions daily. Walk around, throw some spinners and find them, basically, or find the patch that's willing to have a chew. That one there is a Jackson Eddy. It's the little yellow packet that you could see on your screen in the graphic. That's a orange and gold that's there. That's the exact lure I've been catching more fish on than
there you
anything.
go,
I've been down there with meeting a couple of people down there that live in the local area. My old mate Mitch Chapman's been with me. And
Is it weighted?
It is weighted, so that's 5 grams. That's actually quite heavy. It's been really windy those few days
You can
that we
cast
had
it out
there.
pretty good.
It was just for distance, though. My old mate Mitch has just been chucking around the old red and gold Celta and absolutely braining them. This is going to come into play in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's a spoon-style lure. A little bit more presence than a spinner, a little bit bigger, and with those stonkers going in, Dave,
Yeah.
I reckon I'm going to put a few hours into these. This is a Tassie spoon, and that's the smaller of the two sizes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to jump it up to a bigger size.
No, that's
They're
true.
big fish.
Yep.
They
I'd go the bigger one.
They do not want to sip around on small things and expend too much energy. So the spoons are going to come into it, and the old bank rod holder. It doesn't matter what style it is. It is a must-have, though. It just keeps the line a little bit above the weeds. A lot of these residential lakes do have a lot of weed growth on the edges. This just helps keep the line out of the weed, especially because you will be fishing slack line a fair bit. It just aids in everything. It keeps the gear clean. It keeps it out of the water. It also stops the kids from stepping on it, which will happen at some point.
And the adults.
That's true. Rod holders, especially off the bank, are just as important as they are in boats. Protects gear, keeps your line above any weed, and just makes life generally easier. So please take advantage of the fishing in these residential lakes, because the fish that are going in there now are 4 kilos each. That's big time. Everything I've shown you there gives you a chance of catching one of these fish. Plus, we've got to remember too, the first lot of fish that went in a few weeks ago, Dave, were held from what was supposed to go in July, which didn't happen because of COVID. They actually held those fish and kept feeding them up in the hatchery. They went in. They're actually beautifully sized fish to take home for a feed. And there is nothing better. I watched my oldest daughter, who's 10, watched her cast, wind, catch, and bring in her first fish all on her own. And it is just a massive positive out of a terrible situation that COVID has hit us with. Make the most of it. It's
and all
so
that
much
stuff
fun.
is just duplicate that for Eildon Pondage.
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
A lot of those other little lakes you want to do exactly the same.
Keep it basic
Really good.
and enjoy.
All right, moving along, talking about trout. We've now got our regular cooking segment that's on every night after product of the week now. And tonight we're joined by one of the Women in Recreational Fishing Network, one of the leaders, Cara Cummings.
Nice.
What, Trelly?
Oh, no, just keep going.
Okay, and Cara is going to cook up a special treat. Have a look at this.
Welcome to Lake Eildon, one of the beautiful destinations that regional Victoria has to offer. Today we are filming on location at Jerusalem Creek. Earlier, I caught this lovely brown trout just out of the lake here, and we are going to turn it into a delicious, flavour-packed trout taco. I will fillet this fish, and then we will show you how simple this recipe is to make. So I've filleted the trout, and I've cut it into these strips. Great size for your tacos. Now, a really simple flour mix. Plain flour, equal parts corn flour. Corn flour is what is going to take your fish to the next level. It's going to make it really crispy and give it a really lovely colour. Now, given that we're a little Mexican theme here, we're going to add some cayenne pepper. If you like your spice, add a couple of teaspoons. If the kids are eating this, probably only 1 teaspoon. A little bit of salt and pepper, stir that through, and then coat your fish, and it's ready to shallow fry on the barbecue. Whilst our fish is cooking, prepare some really easy sides. We've got a fresh avocado salsa to go on top. So diced avocado, tomato, red onion, parsley or coriander, and we'll finish off with a squeeze of fresh lime juice. And then a really simple, yummy dressing. I've got equal parts mayonnaise and sour cream. And again, a little squeeze of our lime juice. Stir that through, and that's just going to give it that nice little kick and creaminess through the tacos. So we'll check on our fish, and then we're ready to build these tacos. After 2 minutes or so, just check to see that they're nice and crispy, which these are, lovely. And we'll turn them over just for another couple of minutes to finish them off. Gorgeous and crispy. So all the components to our dish are ready, and it's as simple as putting them all together. So instead of tacos, I actually found these tortilla boats, which I thought were rather appropriate. So we'll layer those up with some lettuce, the beautiful salsa that we made, on with the crispy, crunchy trout. That just looks divine. The dressing that we prepared. And if you're a fan of chilies, on with the jalapenos and fresh chili. And there we go, our delicious trout tacos, or trout taco boats in this instance. Definitely a crowd pleaser. Prepare at your next barbecue.
Well done, Cara. A little bit more complicated than my fish and panko breadcrumbs. No wonder she told me to get off and Women in Rec Fishing will take over. Coming up next, Kramer's Mailbag. Plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne.
Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start.
I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
All right, bit of mailbag, boys. Let's get into it. This one comes from Dave. Let's call him Dave because he wants to remain anonymous. After receiving the media release from Better Boating Victoria last Friday, I decided it would be suitable to launch my boat and wet a line for the permitted 2-hour period. I live 2.7 kilometres from my local ramp. The spot we decided to drop the pick was 4.8 kilometres from my residential address and approximately 3 kilometres from my fishing buddy's residential address. However, things took a turn for the worst when we were approached by the water police. We were asked what we were doing out here, for which we replied, fishing. He asked how long we had been out for, which I replied, approaching 1 hour and 40 minutes. The officer then advised that we were not permitted to be out on the water fishing as all boat ramps were remain closed as they were considered facilities. I tried to explain that there was a media release stating ramps were now open. However, the police stated that they were only relying on information released by DHHS and that current information surrounding wreck boating was grey. We were then told that we would be issued with a $5,000 fine. We then proceeded to travel back to the ramp, where further discussions took place. Upon arriving at the ramp, the officers advised that we wouldn't be receiving the fine, which was a relief. They proceeded to advise us that it wasn't wise to go fishing from a boat at the moment, as the 2-hour time limit isn't favourable to this type of activity. They advised we should hold off on any further boating until further advice was provided by DHHS. It's safe to say the boat won't be going anywhere near the water anytime soon. Dave, that's really disappointing. And Brendan Wing had the same thing, and obviously a lot of people got turned around at Stony Point. It isn't good enough that a government department puts out advice that boat ramps are open, and we said that could have happened. I was pretty sure it was going to happen last Tuesday. It did take until, I think, Friday to come out, and there was reasons for that delay, but it's not good enough that it doesn't filter through all the agencies, and particularly the water police.
Exactly.
How they can be...
I mean, they're the guys on the front line. They should be told straight away because it puts themselves in this position, and you think you just go down that path of...
Well, it gives that angst too, doesn't it, towards police?
I don't agree with the police officers telling them stay out of your boats because it's not conducive to... It's not an activity conducive to... Well, that's not for them to... That's not their decision.
No, that's a personal side.
Here's an interesting one. Jess writes into us. I live in Hastings and Better Boating have closed my local ramp. Can I travel 9.5 kilometres to Stony Point ramp?
That's a great question, and it's a valid question.
Yeah. Should you be allowed?
100% you should.
Well, I would say so.
Yeah.
We do it.
I mean, who in their right mind would close Hastings boat ramp at this time of the year?
Yeah.
And can I just show, actually, we've got a graphic here. This is a screenshot of Hastings webcam this morning. And if you can read down the bottom there, it says ramp condition, excellent. I'm tipping that's not excellent. So anyway, I think you've probably heard enough about Hastings boat ramp.
Hey.
Another
a good question though.
Yeah. Well,
it's very valid.
I know it's difficult.
I
understand it's difficult, but
it's very difficult.
The authorities that have got Hastings boat ramp closed, that is irresponsible. Absolutely irresponsible to be doing that.
When was the first date that it should have been finished? It's gone?
October 16, so about another week or so, or 10 days. But there's no way. I mean, they haven't even. There's no way. I think the latest date is first week of November. Now you've got
2021.
I'm not sure what year that is. But well, you can only read about it in a magazine, by the way, because there's no real update. I had to get that from someone else who, but. So you've got Grand Final long weekend, no Hastings boat ramp. Melbourne Cup long weekend, which is early this year.
Yeah, that's huge.
It starts in October.
Really huge.
No Hastings boat ramp.
Yep.
Whoever decided to do Hastings this late rocks in their head. Another question: does the 5 kilometre include on the water?
Doesn't it?
I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does too. That's the way I read it.
In fact, we're going to listen to an interview I did with Neil Mitchell pretty shortly, but because I was really disappointed in that.
Yeah, I'd take you fishing when your bait hits the bottom.
What?
Oh, okay.
You're fishing, you're 2 hours fishing when your bait hits the bottom.
Not from when you left home. All right, got to keep going. Now, there was an article. I tell you, I'm alarmed by this and what's going on. The headline here is Spider Crab Harvest Threat to Festival. There's a group on the Mornington Peninsula that are saying, this is what they're saying, I'll read a couple of things. Many Mornington Peninsula residents look forward to the annual mid-year arrival of tens of thousands of spider crabs around Ryblegary and Sorrento piers. The creatures that gather to feed on those who find themselves perched precariously at the mound's top or edge are astounding. Rays, sharks, fish and seabirds. So all these predators come in to eat the spider crabs. The resulting feast is one of the best underwater shows near any Australian shore. So they're saying that this is the mob, right? I think they're called the Spider Crab Alliance. Now they're saying that they love to see all that. Not known for being tasty, it was a surprise when fishers appeared on the piers to catch the crabs in 2019, followed by even greater numbers in 2020. On 16th of September, the Victorian Fisheries Authority released a proposal to reduce the permitted catch from 30 crabs a day to 15. The Spider Crab Alliance has been working with local businesses, education and tourism bodies to increase tourism and economic activity around this winter event, and one option they're considering is a spider crab festival. They're trying to align themselves with Whyala's Cuttle Fest. Now, here's a headline from, this is from, I think it's late June, early July, a headline we're going to show here of what's going on. A petition has been launched by those people to stop fishing for cuttlefish. So they want this spectacle to show, but they're just, you know, like it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing that they're saying, let's have a festival, but we want to ban the fishing of it. And that's I tell you what, this mob, they'll be banning calamari in Port Phillip Bay soon because they're beautiful to watch. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, but it's funny they're saying the beautiful part of the spider crab was watching the carnage of everything eating them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now, let's get back onto the 5 kilometre rule and the fishing thing. Sorry, I've got to finish this. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, boys, I did an interview with Neil Mitchell last Friday, and this is what I was hoping for. But just you have a listen to the. Just have a listen to it. Here we go. Have a listen to this.
So it struck me as a bit strange. You're not allowed to use boat ramps. You can go fishing within the 5Ks, but you're not allowed to use boat ramps. That might be about to change. The man who was responsible for the election of the Andrews government last time by getting the fishermen to vote for them, the voice of the fishermen, the host of Talking Fishing, Dave Kramer, good morning.
Morning, Neil.
So have you decided to change this, have you?
I challenged the stupid rules. That's what I did. And, you know, when that came out on, I think it came out Monday night, that you could go boating, but you weren't allowed to use a boat ramp. And then worse still, you're allowed to go fishing, but their words were piers and jetties remain closed. Well, I said jetties and piers aren't closed, so they can't remain closed. You got it wrong. And I challenged it. It's a long process.
How did you challenge it? Who did you challenge it with?
Firstly, I rang the Minister's office, and then I rang the Premier's office, and I said, you know, it's not right.
What's going to happen? You reckon it'll change?
Oh, I think it'll change, Neil. In fact, I expect it to change, and I'll be really annoyed if it doesn't, but I would expect that by late this afternoon, boat ramps will be announced as they're open, and if a boat ramp is within 5 kilometres of your home, you can launch your boat and go fishing. And then same with piers and jetties. I guess the overarching rules that I can't influence, Neil, is that it is 5 kilometres and it is only for 2 hours.
Yeah, but I'd you drive 5Ks to the boat ramp and go out 2Ks into the ocean, there's 7. Or into the Port Phillip Bay, there's 7.
I would hope there's no restriction once you're on the water.
Yeah, I think so.
Other than you do need to be back in, you know, and back home in 2 hours, so you're not going to go 20 kilometres.
Too far, yeah. Thank you very much, Dave Kramer, the host of Talking Fishing.
Now, I guess from that interview, boys, just that last little bit, I did say to Neil that I expected the 5 kilometre to end at the boat ramp and that it was unrestricted once you got out of the water, except for you are under a 2-hour limit. And I don't think, you know, I'm in a position to change that. None of us are. No. But so I think it's unrealistic. If you can get to a boat ramp that's within 5 kilometres, then I really think it's got to be unlimited once you're in the water, within that 2-hour limit.
That's going to limit you anyway.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to limit you anyway if you're a 2-hour limit.
I can't. It can't be any different, because how are you contributing to the spread of a virus out in Port Phillip Bay in your boat?
You can't.
Exactly.
So if you took medical, have a look. Neil, he's quite jealous of us, by the way. Let's have a listen to how he finished this interview once I was gone.
Thank you very much, Dave Kramer, the host of Talking Fishing. And of course, I'm very jealous of him because before the last election, he got the Premier on his program, Talking Fishing, and he got the Minister, and they got all sorts of goodies thrown their way, like cleaning tables and things, and the fishermen probably voted for the government as well.
Now, we're getting yelled at to go to a break. We're going to come back onto that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think people need to work with this government rather than just bag, because everyone's a politician at the moment. And let's talk about that after the break. Coming up next, hotspots and plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron is a trailer boat and social club on Port Phillip Bay. The club has a great range of facilities, including multiple boat ramps, ample car and trailer parking, boat wash and fish cleaning, fishing competitions and boat safety lectures, boating activities and club events, a restaurant and 2 bars. Easy launch and retrieval makes for a relaxing time on the water for you, your family and friends to enjoy. And boating memberships are now available. The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, the best trailer boat experience on the bay.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for, Fishing Hotspots, brought to you by the Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, Melbourne's premier trailer boat club.
All right, let's get into the hotspots and some cracking fish around for those that live within 5 k's of a boat ramp to get out to and enjoy, and none other than at this time of year. I know everyone's got snapper on their minds or big calamari, but I'm telling you right now, down at the Sisters off Blair Gowrie, there is some lovely King George whiting at the moment, and all very close to nudging 40 centimetres.
Nice. Get there in a kayak.
Very good.
Get there in a kayak. You don't have to go too far out. Green pole off the Sisters.
I might write that down.
The people that fish there will kill me for saying that, but anyway. All right, let's keep moving. Oh, here's another one. People are going to kill me for this one too. The boy. It's good to see some of the local clubs that can open up now, because like we were talking about earlier on, Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron with the best fish cleaning tables in Australia. All of a sudden, they've got beautiful facilities. They've got 2. I think they've got 2 ramps of 2 lanes. All of a sudden, they're allowed to open, but they're not allowed to open their club rooms and stuff like that. But they are going to hate seeing the next hotspot. But it's the way it is. There is a good run of snapper off Black Rock right now. So if you live within 5 k's of Black Rock,
get amongst it.
Get amongst some good snapper. You saw Ian earlier on, 7.7 kilo was his best this week. Although he may have hidden a few bigger ones, I think. Let's see if we get them on next week. Let's head over to Western Port now. Stony Point. You saw Winger. Took the kids out, some donkeys of calamari out off Stony Point, and probably all the other places too. You can't get to Tyre Bank because there's no boat ramp within 10 kilometres of anyone's home because it's closed. Did you know that? Hastings is closed.
There you go.
Anyway, there you go. If you are lucky enough to live over that Phillip Island area or on the western side of Western Port, the eastern side of Western Port, Elizabeth Island in Western Port is fishing very well for snapper as well.
Big red territory, Dave. Big red territory.
Good stuff, isn't it? For those of you that live in regional, particularly around Geelong, not too far to get to this lake.
Please go and do this.
This lake is just on fire. Lake Purrumbete. Go down and stay in the caravan park.
That's it.
Beautiful town, camper down. Get down there and enjoy some lovely big brown trout.
Nice and quiet, no Melbourneites.
Yeah. And lucky last, Caulfield Racecourse Lake. It got, I think it was 30 from memory off that thing. 30 or 20 stonker trout this week. So get down to Caulfield Racecourse, the little lake that's in the middle of the racecourse.
Yeah, good job.
Easy to get to. I think there's a little underpass under the racetrack and you're in and there you go. That's
stonker trout.
Some good hotspots. So so back on this look, I don't know. If the 5 kilometre and the 2 hour limit aren't lifted on the 19th of October, which is in 2 weeks' time.
We riot.
Civil disobedience.
I just think the punters are going to turn. You know, and I have been supportive. There's no doubt about it, and I don't mind saying it. I mean, this government has done more for fishing in the last 6 years than any government ever before. You know, probably $30 to $40 million each of the terms, and you know, we've got no nets in Port Phillip Bay. We've got no nets in the Gippsland Lakes. We've got free boat ramps, just to mention a few. We've got record stocking. So, and I don't throw, you know, all the good stuff out because there's a pandemic. But I guess what we proved is that if we saw some pretty poorly thought through rules, which was you can go boating, but boat ramps aren't open, you can go fishing and there's no piers.
Pretty simple.
That we challenge them, you know, and I can tell you now that, and I know politics fairly well, I think, is that the Premier didn't make that decision. The Minister didn't make that decision. Fisheries didn't make that decision.
Some advisor.
No, probably someone in DHHS made that decision, and it wasn't well thought through. And so all I'm saying is that it's about time, because Neil Mitchell, you know, he goes, well, you know, what about, I mean, that full interview, he went on about, well, how come someone who's, you know, working in jobs, creating jobs, can't get through to someone? Well, it's, you know, there is so much bagging going on. And I'm not happy with the situation either. But if you constructively work on solutions when you see things that aren't quite right, and you chip away, and we can only chip away at our patch.
That's right.
You actually do get some changes made.
With sensible remarks. What you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I mean, Trella, you don't, or you probably do. You know how lucky you are in the regions.
That's
you
right.
You talk to people out in the regions. Really, your only restriction is you've got to wear a mask now, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, these guys are going crazy. Amy's marrying Jerry. There's all sorts of stuff going on.
There is all sorts going on. All right, that's it for Talking Fishing. We'll end it on that note. We hope you enjoyed the show. Some beautiful calm weather again coming up this weekend. Let's hope the restrictions of the 5 kilometre in 2 hours are lifted pretty soon. We're hoping. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.